it starts hitting on high cylinder. It's like literally like, you know what I mean? Like as you're thinking it, or as it's like, happening. And that's when it's like coming straight from a higher intelligence. Like that's coming from God. Like straight up, there's no way that anybody would be able to engineer that, or that you would be able to, just unbelievable. And as I'm driving this girl, and we're just kind of like talking and just being cool with each other, and just kind of like, she knows I'm doing a good thing by her, but she's wasted, but kind of coming out of it now a little bit, and just thankful that she's heading home safely. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there at like 2 something in the morning now, like just kind of getting tired, being like, man, like what a long night. Like I just wanted to go have some fun and go home and pass out at like 11 or 12. But like, you know what? And I was like, this girl, I have no idea who she is. I'll never see her again for the rest of my life. But like, it makes me feel good that this one night, and I was like, that I did something good to help this girl, or like to help just the situation. And I was like, and just in general in Myrtle Beach, you hear about all, like, and anybody who's ever lived there, and the people who haven't lived there but go there on tourism, they sometimes hear about it. But the people who have lived there have heard stories, and there's some really bad stuff that happens there, especially in the bar scenes, especially with females who are either naive or it caught in a bad situation. There's definitely a lot of predators of all sorts of types around. That's something it's just a very transient area in Myrtle Beach. There's a lot of people that constantly going through, because it is a tourist area, and it's a hard place to kind of keep track of everything. And so there's a lot of crime that comes through. And so, it felt good. I was just thinking about that, and I was like, man, in this day and age, with all the crazy stuff that happens in this world, and I was like, man, like, if there really was a God, and he was looking down right now, like, what would he be saying? Like about me, like, man, like, dude, what a job tonight. Like protecting this girl who you had no idea who she was, but saw that she was in danger, and then getting her into your hands somehow, and then doing the right thing and bringing her home, and like that, and doing it like a gentleman. You know what I mean? And it's like, at that moment, dude, I swear to God, I'm not making this story up. And this is why I was like, this needs to be the third episode of the parapsychology video. At that moment, when I was saying that, I was like, man, what would God think if like, he was looking down and saw this whole situation right now in this day and age, and like Myrtle Beach, like when all this bad stuff happens. As literally as I was finishing that last word, just like me seeing that sign, God is the original GPS, a huge shooting star streaked across the sky. And it was like literally the most like unbelievable moment, like of synchronicity. Like it filled me up with such a warm feeling as I was driving this girl home. Like, kind of like, people can say like, man, that's just a coincidence. It was just a shooting star, or even a piece of space junk, right? But it was the coincidence of the moment. And it was like unbelievable that it lined up like that. Time, space, continuum, synchronicity, full, like unbelievable. And it's like, and the fact that it lined up like that, like told me that was like, it could be only one thing. You could say, oh, that's just a coincidence. But it was like, nah, man, that's like God, like literally being like, dude, like what would God be thinking right now if he was looking down in this day and age in Myrtle Beach and seeing like you doing what you just did tonight, and like you driving this girl home, like, bro, like here's a friggin' shooting star across the whole sky of like South Carolina, like whole Myrtle Beach, like for everybody to see, dude. Like, you want a sign of what I think, like what I believe, like what I hear is like I can do, like that is my land, my, what do they call it? The mural, or the canvas. If you think God looks at this whole thing like it's his canvas, man. Like everything, the whole earth, it's his canvas. That the atmosphere, how everything, all the molecules and everything come together, and the stuff that we can't even really comprehend as in the human mind. You know what I mean? Like that scientists or people that need to come along, like Einstein and these different people that come along, these amazing minds that are just kind of like breaking things down, like super smart. We just need to make sure that these minds are directed in the right way, where they're not being directed to enrich a small percentage of people at the expense of the rest of the people. And if they don't go along with that agenda, then they are taken out. like a Martin Luther King, or like the many, many people who have been taken out through time, um, that seem to have come up and offered some sort of something to mankind. So I don't know. Pretty cool story though, like how God communicates. God communicates through some amazing ways, and that story is a true story about the House of Blues one night on a girl who was way too drunk, and one guy after another. Like I said, like a broken record, like almost comical. And like I said, psychokinesis is the ability to kind of like influence events, and you could just say that it just worked out that way. But like I could tell you what, man, I was like kind of rooting it the whole way, and then, yeah, it ended up being a cool little, like I said, the shooting star lining up at that exact moment with synchronicity made it like so worth it. And just like, it was like basically a right back at you from God in the form of a shooting star. And that's the best way to put it, is like, what would God be thinking right now? Like, dude, right back at you. How about a high five, bro? Like, how about like a high five? Like, you want to, like, what do you want, dude? Like, you want the shooting star? Like, I'll give you a shooting star right now. Like, dude, what, like, do you want 2 shooting stars, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like, God, like, is so amazing. So, like, don't ever underestimate. And if you're doing the right thing, like, yeah, by yourself, but like, especially for other people, and like everything that you can do for others, man, like, and do it in the right way, and like, always come from the right place, like, through how God would, I am telling you, like, he sees and pays attention. And this video, I just talked and just threw it out there, but yeah, pretty cool. Like, the bonus content, hoped you guys liked it. The lucid dreaming, definitely a cool technique. And then, and this is the third video. So now we've done the 9/11. God is the original GPS, and a right back at you from God in the form of a shooting star, and how God communicates through signs, synchronicity, kind of the whole meaning of it, and kind of how 1228. And that's kind of my whole thing. So episodes 4 and 5, which are going to be coming up, are going to be amazing. You're not going to want to miss them. I don't want to spoil it, but one's going to be about the enchantment under the sea on October 26, 2010. And the other one is going to be about an incident that happened in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, September 3rd of 2008. And that can be Googled on YouTube. Myrtle Beach, September 3rd, 2008, if somebody wants to get ahead of the game. But anyways, October 26, 2010, Manchester, New Hampshire, enchantment under the sea. The next 2 videos, 4 and 5. Not to forget, this is Parapsychology, talking about all this stuff, and having discernment, always talking about coming from a place of light, and following the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. And energy follows intention. So it's like, if you're coming from a good place and you have a good heart and you have a good intention for things, then generally things are going to be good. If you have a bad intention, of course they're going to be bad. And also realize that there are no straight arrows in the universe. Some of the best advice I've ever heard in my life. There are no straight arrows, no straight lines in the universe. So everything. So you think, like, oh, whatever, I do this to somebody else, I have this bad intention or whatever, I can get away with it, it's not going to come back. It will come back, I guarantee. And but also the good stuff that you do comes back too. And like I said, that sign of the shooting star, I've seen that numerous times. I swear God communicates that way, but it has to be through different things will happen. Like, sometimes people see a bird or something in nature, but it's at the exact moment, especially when they lose a loved one. That's something. And you know what, that God just impressed me to put that on here at the end of this video, especially when people lose a loved one. A lot of times when they're sitting there and they're in that connection, praying for somebody or whatever, and missing somebody, it's like an amputation, and they're just kind of like, man, like I wish you were sitting here with me, blah blah blah, all this stuff. People miss, that connection. And then all of a sudden they'll see something, like even something associated with that person, like a red robin. Maybe that person loves like red robins, you know what I mean, or whatever. Or they see like a bunny rabbit, or like whatever. They see something that reminds them of this person, like a butterfly comes and lands on them, you know what I mean? Like something beautiful like that. This stuff happens, man. It's so beautiful. Getting a beautiful little breeze in the window right now as I'm talking about this. Like, God's just like, what up, dude? The moon is beautiful tonight, looking nice. I had 2 beautiful little double rainbow tonight. So I threw out 2 videos. And like I said, the next two are going to be like amazing, right on par with the first one. But I wanted to throw these two out just to kind of let people know what direction I was coming from and what the slant was here. And this is about all about really just God and the movement of the people that, like, you know, just like how Albert Einstein was talking about the intuitive mind. That's the sacred gift. And when you get right down to it, God is the original GPS, and just follow the signs, and they are all around us. And the next two videos to follow. All right, guys, have a great night. Peace out.